Dan, I got to tell you, I love our intro music. keep it going for a little bit longer.
Does it just get you up and moving about and put you in that mood?
Yeah, I just love our intro song. It just, I think it just gets me in the right frame of mind for podcasting and firewood. I just love it. I think. Do you remember when we were kicking around the idea of doing the podcast? We started pretty early on trying to figure out what our song should be.
Yeah, and there weren't a lot of options.
Yeah, it was. We had both. We just had every example possible that we were going through, and we were like, "Nah, that's no good. Nah, that's no good." And then we picked on this one, and we both went like, "Yes, that's it."
Yeah, but this is interesting because I was thinking about possibly, saying, do you think we need to change anything up? Like once we reach our 100th episode, do you think maybe it would be time for like a refresh? Like maybe a little new jingle, maybe, I don't know. But now if you're this much in love with that intro, we can't change it.
I don't know if we want to change it. I love it. I love it, and I also love the jingle for the word of the day.
Oh,
I think that gets enough play time that it could also be its own introduction song.
Yes, but we will try not to refer to me as that today. We'll see if we can.
Yeah, that name which should remain nameless.
Yes.
You're the Voldemort of firewood non-professionals.
That's right. Non-professional is correct.
Yeah. So I don't know how you've been, Dan, but my phone is ringing off the hook. Off the hook. Just sales are on fire, which is ironic. And now we are probably in an Indian summer, I guess.
Ooh.
We had a cold snap. We had our first frost.
Oh,
now we're in the mid 70s.
Wow. Yeah, I don't really advertise much out there with my number. However, I actually have received a couple calls about people inquiring about firewood. So They're looking for bulk, however, so I always direct them to my urban logger, Rick, who sells bulk firewood. So I have gotten calls, just I haven't been able to fulfill the orders.
Yeah, I am ambivalent of bulk sales. It's not that I'm ambivalent. It's that I just feel good and bad and indifferent all at the same time.
And that is what ambivalent means, apparently, because this jingle has got you into like a whole new mindset here.
Scholar,
I
just love that
my
song.
Goodness, dropping these big words and terms.
Yeah, I don't think ambivalent is that big of a word, but whatever.
I would have never guessed to hear it on this podcast, but
yeah, okay. Yeah, so bulk sales, I don't know. For me, it's a double-edged sword, and this is why. If I did not have a single customer, bulk sales to me is residential delivery. Because I guess bulk could also be to restaurants, but let's not. I'm talking about residential delivery.
Yes.
Of all of the wood that I make, I could make the exact same amount and not sell a stick of it to bulk, and I could still sell it all.
But you would be making more.
I think I would probably be making more money. It would just come in differently. It's kind of like restaurants. So if I had no residential deliveries in my portfolio of customers.
Ooh, fancy.
That is a nice word. I am telling you, I know I can sell every single stick of that firewood to restaurants and then to bundles. So I see like firewood sales as a three-legged stool. Restaurants, residential, and retail. What I call the 3 R's of firewood sales. Actually, I just thought of that, so I'll take credit. I will take credit for the 3 R's of firewood sales. Okay. When you are just like all restaurants, you would sell all of that same amount of wood, but it's spread out through all 12 months. If you only sell residential, you'll probably have some sales in the spring and summer, but it is mostly an intensive 3 to 4 months of just nonstop firewood deliveries.
Yes. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I am kind of hesitant about, I could have sold the 2/3 of a cord that this guy wanted, but then that would have depleted my inventory down to nothing. So like, do you ever
Yeah.
look at, your bulk sales or your residential sales and try to project out and be like, you know what? I don't know if I want to fulfill this order because I know I need that next week, next month.
Yeah. I don't know if this is going to be an accurate analogy. All right. When I worked for that national auto parts chain, we sold, you know, all of the car parts. Let's just talk about like your thermostat, your radiator hoses, your clamps, your additives, and your antifreeze. So antifreeze is what they regarded as a commodity, and the price was priced very low to where you practically made no money when you sold antifreeze. It's because when people would come in to buy antifreeze, you try to get them to buy all of the other related items, and that's how you get your sale. It's like unleaded gas at a gas station. They keep the price of that real low to generate traffic so that when you come in, you'll go inside and buy Dr. Peppers and hot dogs and stuff.
Yes.
So knowing that about the antifreeze, we had a customer that came in and he had some type of manufacturing company or some type of a contractor. He had all kinds of need for antifreeze. And he wanted to buy every single case of antifreeze that we had in the store. And we told him no. And he says, well, what the heck for? You want to sell it, don't you? And yes, we wanted to sell it, but no, that wasn't the role of that antifreeze because we'd make practically no money on it. The antifreeze is used as a vehicle to get other people to come into the store. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yep.
And firewood to me, I don't know. That's where I'm just saying that's not a very good analogy, but the same thing goes. If you had an offer to sell all of your firewood that you have to just one person, I don't think that is such a good idea because I think you ultimately are trying to grow your business and increase your visibility in your delivery area. And if you sell all of your wood to just one person, okay, you got your money, but I don't think that you really done yourself much benefit long term
Yeah.
because you could have had 50, you know,
Customers.
40 to
Yes.
50
Yep.
different customers that you could have satisfied with outstanding customer service, and then you missed it to get all of your money in one lump. Now,
Yep.
some people may go for it because that's just what they want to do. But it just seems to me with residential of the third R of firewood sales, um, I and bulk sales too. That's why I try to say I stay away from bulk. What I call bulk would be like a core delivery, and I just deliver small quantities. And I would much rather deliver small quantities at a high margin and spread out my income over an entire year than getting it all in just like one day.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yep. I'm
But
following you.
yeah, but maybe we're crazy. I don't know. It just seems like, the guy that offered to buy all of the antifreeze and we turn it down because that's ultimately not how we're going to grow the business.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you had someone that wanted to buy a large quantity of firewood, a lot of it, like half your inventory,
Uh-huh.
but here's the kicker. They
Yeah.
want it at a discount because they're buying so much.
Uh-huh. Which is one of the this is where you get into like this Walmart or these national retailers or these um uh Sam's Club, where they sell everything in big bulk because
Yep.
they'll sell it to you cheap and they want to move a lot of product and that's how they make their money. And I am from the school of thought which says to each their own. But if you're asking me, is that what you're asking? Joe, do you give
Yes.
discounts?
Yes.
Do you give a discount? So I can answer this one of two ways. I have a long answer and a short answer. Which
Oh.
one would you prefer to hear? Well,
Um.
it honestly doesn't make any difference because they are exactly the same. The answer is, if I give discounts, the answer is no, I
Oh.
don't.
No.
Yeah. No, I don't give discounts. My reply to that would be, what for? You know, I'm serious. What for? Why give discounts in firewood? I don't understand this. Now, like I'm saying, to each their own. If you use, your sales as a way to give back to the community, I understand all that, or to whatever, if to the elderly, or to public servants, your first responders or military, I understand all that. I am just saying that this is my livelihood, and at least the way I see it, it is easy to sell firewood. I think that it is impossible to make firewood and not sell it. It's like owning an NFL football team. It's impossible to not make money. And therefore, there's no reason to give discounts. None. And like people that want to buy a full cord off of me, I tell them I don't deliver cords, And then, or if they want to buy a quarter, and they'll say, well, how much is it if I get a half? It would be a quarter times two.
Times two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't give discounts. There's no such thing as a discount in firewood.
Wow. I thought you were a nice guy. I thought you were.
I am. I am a nice guy, and that's why I'm not knocking on your door with my hand out asking.
But you do see that. You see that quite a bit, where they might even advertise, like a discounted rate for the more that you buy.
Yeah.
And that's the one, people are always looking for a deal for whatever reason.
I'm always looking for a deal too.
Just not in firewood.
Well, I mean, if I'm a consumer, heck yeah, you're always looking for a deal. But the way, at least that I sell firewood, number one, this isn't the first time I've said this. I am very cheap. I'm the most frugal person that you've ever met. And that's how I got into firewood to begin with, because I didn't feel like, we bought this house that's not on the gas line, and propane's too expensive. So I was looking for ways to save money, and wood's cheap, and my whole business model revolves around avoiding people who heat with wood because they're like me,
Yep.
I know right away when a person calls me when they're asking about firewood, the first thing that they want to know is how much. It seems like, and I know right away that they're not going to buy off of me. It's always the people that literally, as long as the price is reasonable, they're willing to pay extra for value, which is what I do. But I would just tell everyone out there, even if you're just selling it even if you're just selling it as a hobbyist. I had to say it. It's the word of the day. Even if you're just selling it like that, I don't see a reason to give a discount. Unless you want to, because you have a thing for, whatever it is. I understand, and I think that's admirable. And I'm not cold-hearted like that either. There have been times when something comes up, and absolutely, I'll take care of a person. Absolutely. In fact, I'm not even opposed to giving firewood away, if it's for the right reasons.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But I'm just saying, as a business practice, discounts, what for? It is easy to sell firewood. You will never have firewood left over at the end of the year. So why sell it cheap? You've put all of that time into it, all of that effort, all of the fuel, driving your truck up and down the road, all your smashed fingers and banged shins and loading and unloading and stacking, and you want to sell it for a discount? I don't understand why. Because even if it is easy to sell firewood, Dan, If you can't get the sale from this person because you're too high, you'll sell it tomorrow. You could probably even raise your price another 25% and still sell it.
Oh, and then in doing so, so in other words, if someone asks if this is do you offer a discount, and you say yes, the discount's already built into that's the price. but but are you so would it be then, let's say for myself here, if
Yeah.
I were to say I were to run a little ad on the marketplace, and I would say something like, fall special, $5 bundles, and then just have like fine print, like regularly $7, even though I normally just sell them for 5. Would that be, because like I said, everyone's looking for a deal. So if
Well, I
if
don't
I
believe
were
in being dishonest.
well, I was considering raising my price, but now I'm not going to. I'm going to offer it at this.
Yeah. So there are, now this is, people, please don't take legal advice from me. Okay. Please don't. But I do believe there are laws out there, and I think they are specifically directed at like the jewelry industry and the furniture industry, because like they'll have their jewelry is on sale 75% off. Like, I'm serious, it's like 364 days a year. And then for one day a year, they have to raise their price to full price, and that
Ah,
is to comply to the legality. Like, you can't like offer like deep discounts all the time, or
all the
something's on
time.
sale all the time. Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, that's where don't get me started on these national retailers. That could be its own episode. Because
Well,
I've seen it from the inside.
yeah, but I just see, like you'll see advertised bundles like $7 a bundle or 3 for 20. So
Yeah.
is that like offering that type of discount? Is it to make it easier for the customer because they probably have a $20 bill and not a $21 in their pocket? Or is it a way to try to move more firewood? But to your point, you're then moving more but getting less for it.
Yeah, and that's the way I see it. I guess it could, there's these enticements. You see it for. I just saw it at the sandwich shop today. It was, buy a foot long, get a half for half off. You know, so I guess they're just looking to get more income, um, but giving away more, not giving away, but selling more
Selling more
product.
product. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, where they could have gotten full price for it, but who's to say that that person wouldn't have bought it at all? So I don't know. Some people see it as when the customer is standing in front of you, that there's a way to squeeze more money out of them, and retailers do that all the time. Why do you think they, at the cash out at the registers, they put all these kids little trinkets, little dollar toys at eye level for the kids to see? You know,
Yes. They
because they're
get
just trying to get, yeah,
everything.
they're just trying, yeah, because you're already there. And that's the way we were in auto parts. If a customer comes into the store, they are already there, and they're already willing to spend money. So you try to go after all of the related items to make sure that they can buy everything that you can possibly get them to buy. It makes your average transaction go up. And if you, I mean, I'm not an accountant here, but if you have like 1 million transactions a year, and you can increase your average transaction by $1, you've just made another
That's five hundred
million in
thousand
sales.
dollars.
How I'm not in the poorhouse, I can't explain to you. Me and numbers do not get along. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm just saying, okay, every industry is different. Now jewelry, there's a lot of competition out there. There's a lot of jewelry stores. There's a lot of retail general stores out there. There's a lot of hardware stores, a lot of gas stations. So they are scrimping and fighting and clawing for every penny they can get to get you to go shop there. I mean, we got an AutoZone here in town. Literally, right across the street is an O'Reilly's. you know, we have Walgreens, and right across the street is Rite Aid. They just don't get me started on these retailers, but that's what they're doing. They are fighting for every single penny. And I don't think you need to do that in firewood, because even if the guy that's selling wood real cheap, uh, he'll be he'll be out by the end of October. Which means you're still going to sell your wood, and
Yep.
just wait. Just wait. And
Yeah.
I do not believe in gouging either. People, if there's a power outage, or if there's if your wood costs more in January than it did in November, that ain't me. My prices hold through the selling season, and then I'll readjust comes midsummer.
Yep. You'll
Yeah,
make any adjustments you need and bump up the price if needed. And yeah, it's so,
yeah,
and that's one of the things that when I first started thinking about selling, and I kind of was on the fence about going into the bulk delivery residential sales. That's one of the things that always loomed in my mind was if I sold out,
yeah,
having to tell people no, and then having that anxiety about losing customers because I
if
didn't
you
have
sold
a,
out.
yeah. And
If
so it sounds weird, to think that way,
Yeah,
but it is. I can see where in firewood, because I don't think it's as easy to build a loyal customer base when everyone's just out there looking for the best deal they can find at that moment. So
yeah, and I think too, Dan, I think it probably depends a lot on the kind of market that you're in.
yes,
Um, for instance, my bulk sales I directly go right after high end residential. And how I started going after them was I don't sell cords, and I try not to sell halves. I only sell quarters. But I really mark it up. So I always say a quarter cord is not worth a quarter cord. It's worth much more in relation to a full cord. And when you go after a market like that, it just seems like I don't get the tire kickers, or the bargain shoppers, or the people who want to beat you up on the price, or the people that you're scared to dump the wood onto the ground before you get the payment.
yep,
you know yeah,
yeah,
all of that. Yeah, I don't deal with any of that. So and then it seems like the people, the price isn't the concern to them.
right.
I think it's just as long as it's reasonable. What they're worried about is, professional delivery. Am I going to show up when I say I will? Is my wood going to be clean? Is it going to burn? Is the quantity going to be correct?
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like the guy that recently just called me looking for, I think it was a cord. I could tell that all he was doing was just calling around, and no matter who he buys it from this year, he's probably not going to buy it from them next year. Yeah, he's just
yeah,
looking for the best deal he can get right now. He's not looking for a long-term relationship for firewood.
I agree, and I think that's because of the way they view what they're looking for, and that's the wood. They
Yep.
literally could care less who it comes from. They just need the wood, and they want it to be cheap.
Right.
Yeah, and if you are a listener to the Woodhounds, if you have been following at least my YouTube channel on sales, you gotta you must be the people that know how easy it is to sell firewood. You literally cannot not sell your firewood. It's just that easy. And my point has always been, well, if it's that easy, don't sell it for so cheap then. And don't be afraid to lose a sale because your price is too high. Um, I have a mentor, a business mentor of mine. He helps me out, with problems here and there. The very first thing he told me to pay attention to, he asked me what my batting average was when a customer would call. I said it's 100%. He says you never lose a sales when they call, and I says no. He goes, then raise your prices 25%. He says your prices are too low. He says you are not effective running your business until you get no's, people that call and they won't buy off of you because your prices are too high. So I did. I immediately raised my prices, and I still wasn't getting any no's. And by that time, the season was over. So the next year, I raised them again. And for a while, it was weird too, because I don't know. You grow up. You don't like you want to please people, and you're willing to give a little bit just to keep people happy, to get the sale. But I worked my way through that after a while, because you gotta, I do a good job. I'm world-class delivery service, but my wood doesn't come cheap.
Yeah. And for those of you that have been following Joe's YouTube channel and the podcast, now are aware that you are one greedy little SOB, aren't you? Just a cruel old man with no heart. Just counting your dollars.
Yeah. That's the kind of comments too that just annoy the heck out of me. It's like if I'm serious. If I was wearing a suit and sitting sitting behind a desk in some glass tower in Dallas, the CEO of a pharmaceutical company, I'm a great American, even though I'm charging whatever they're charging now for insulin. I'm a great American. I'll write a novel about how great of a business person I am. But if you sell firewood, you're greedy.
Yep. You and your $7 bundles, you rip off artist. Come on.
Yeah. Well, I'm in business to be in business, and and I'm upfront with people too, because even when people do call me, and I know exactly what they're doing, because I am them, I will tell them, I am not the right service for you. You don't want to buy your wood off of me. My wood split too small. It's geared more towards restaurants and people that just burn on the weekends. I said, I got 3 people here on my list that I would recommend that you call. You'll get your wood a lot cheaper off of them. I do that all the time. Yep. In fact, I even met one of them at that Hartville Hardware where I was at a couple weekends ago. Never even met the guy. I just drive by his place all the time. He's a tree service. They got a lot of firewood there. And I just always tell people, call him.
There you go.
Uh-huh. Yeah. But if you're looking for a discount, don't call me.
Don't come looking for a discount.
No discounts.
No discount firewood.
Yeah.
NDF.
Yeah. If you want to give discounts, then go for it. But I'm just saying, I think you should always ask the question, what for? And
remember the 3 R's: reuse, recycle, and residential.
So my dad grew up in West Virginia, and he graduated from high school in the mid-50s. He said in West Virginia, they taught the 3 R's, which was reading, writing, and Route 250 to Ohio. He says that, back in those days, you graduate high school and you'd move to Ohio to go to the steel mills.
Get out of town. There you go.
Get out.
Well, speaking of getting out of town, I think maybe that's what I need to do. So I think we need to maybe strike up the band and listen to that jingle one more time.
Oh, I love that song. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for hanging out with us today here at the Wood Hounds. We are the #1 firewood podcast in the world.
And we don't give discounts.
No.
But you still get to listen for free on all of the major podcasting platforms.
Yeah. All right. Well, Dan, I want to tell you to don't
give a discount.
And be
safe.
And stay
cool.
And have
a great day.